Welcome, 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 everyone, and happy Magic Monday. So, today I would like to give a short, sweet, to the point, and hopefully helpful little Tarot 101 advice for our Magic Monday topic. Um, I get a lot of questions about tarot. I see a lot of misconceptions about tarot, which, I mean, that's a given, right? There's misconceptions about everything out there. And it's important that we educate ourselves and also be open to having our own personal experiences with things. So this way we have grounded advice to give those who are misled, misguided, and lost, right? So I wanted to discuss with you that, if you are a tarot reader, a seasoned tarot reader, a newbie tarot reader, you're curious about reading tarot, this is for everyone, okay? Because I feel like this is incredibly important. There are tons of readers that I do see who claim they don't read for themselves. And this has always puzzled me a little bit because I have always read for myself. Now, this does not mean I don't go to trusted readers when I need it. Absolutely, I do. Um, because I feel like sometimes you do need that support. And sometimes you're at a place in your life where you're in your own head too much, you're clouded. You might have spiritual attachments even or just stressors that are affecting your clarity, and it's important to be able to have at least one good reader on that speed dial, you know, that you can go to when those moments happen. But I don't think the importance of knowing how and being open to read for yourself is spoken on enough. There's a reason why this is important, y'all, because so many of us in various ways have been conditioned and programmed to do for others to an imbalanced degree. There is nothing wrong with helping other people. Okay. I love helping people. I love the work I do, you know. Um, but I've just always been like that since I was a child. Any chance I could help somebody, I would. But I've also had to learn throughout my journey and through being present and holding space for a lot of other people in their journey. I've had to learn the importance of giving to myself the way I give to others, making sure that I'm willing to face myself the way I help others face themselves, making sure that my lens is clear towards me as well as others. Because when we are conditioned so much to do for others, see others, problem solve for others, but we're not given the same platform and permission to do that for ourselves, um, that can definitely skew our lens. And I'm not saying always, right? But there have been incidences, right, where I have gone to a reader in the past who, because they didn't read for themselves, and I knew they didn't read for themselves because I knew them personally, and I knew that they did not read for themselves. And at the time, I was a little more naive, so I thought, okay, that makes sense. You go to other people, and um, I get it, or I thought I did at the time, right? But this person would then go on to project a lot of their own stuff onto my readings. Because there would be some things they'd say that I'd be like, wow, that is spot on. I needed to hear that. Thank you. Like, that was a necessary kick in the pants that I needed. But then there would be other things that I'd be like, that doesn't really apply. I know. Like, and I would just, and I'm not afraid to admit when someone's calling me out, but I'm also not going to just accept everything thrown at me if it's not true, you know? Um, like, just because you do readings doesn't mean I'm going to take everything you say as, God. If something you say doesn't sound right to me, I'm just going to say it doesn't sound right to me. It's no insult to you. Listen, I've had moments like that too. And that's why the importance of self reading has been a primary focus in my journey as a tarot reader. But just as a person who likes to read tarot, like for just because I love tarot as a system. Um, because I too, when I was, younger in my journey here, um, I thought that whole like, oh no, you don't read for yourself, if you need help, you seek help and all that stuff. I believed that for a very short time, and I noticed how toxic that was for me in my practice. And then when I saw, this other reader who was also a very close friend of mine, um, get certain things right, but then project other things, I was like, something doesn't feel right about that. And as I've grown now, I realize the importance of knowing how and being comfortable with reading for yourself, knowing how to read for yourself and being comfortable with reading for yourself. Because you can then get more clarity and honesty out of your readings, less of your own crap interfering, and more clarity, more honesty, more understanding, more connection with the person you're reading for, as well as a grounded and firm, confident understanding of yourself. You'll know, because we're all human. This stuff happens. You'll know when it's your own stuff interfering, and you'll be like, "Hold on, I need to clear something right now. Give me a second." And your client, your friend, family member, whoever you're reading for, they'll understand. They should understand, right? You're human. You're not you're not perfect. You're not some demigod, and even the gods, right? Like let's let's look back at our mythology. Even the gods aren't perfect. So if you get a moment where you're like, okay, there's a lot coming through, give me a second, that gives you a second to breathe, to sift through and be like, okay, that's mine. I'm going to put that back there for right now. What is coming through that is for this person? That's all it takes, really. Instead of rushing to find an answer for the person, you really want to hold space. But you have to know and be willing to hold space for yourself too, if you really want to be a clear channel. Because if you can't face yourself, tarot is a wonderful, powerful self development tool. It is developed into an incredible self development, self help tool. Okay. And it's not there to abuse you. It may be incredibly straightforward. I've seen the memes, right? That it can be a bit of a kick in the ass at times, but it's a necessary one to get you to know yourself, face yourself, and heal yourself, better yourself. So I would highly recommend that if you are even a current reader or a newbie reader or a curious reader, you want to learn, make reading for yourself a priority. Make it a ritual, make it a habit so that you are also doing the work that you do for and with others. That is so important. Face yourself as much as you want to help others face themselves so that you can continue to be a living, breathing example of the work you do. This can be as simple as just pulling a card a day, giving yourself some time with your coffee or your tea, a journal, you know, um, and just pulling a card a day, setting the book aside, just looking at the card, viewing the artwork, focusing on what stands out to you and what it brings up for you in your psyche, in your heart, in your soul and spirit, and journaling that out. You can look at that card and say, how can I embody this card today? Why did I pull this card today? What is it asking me to embody, to learn, to grow from? And how can I apply that at least a little bit in my day to day? You know, you could pull a card a week if you really want to work with the energy of that card and embody its energy, learn from it, apply its wisdom, its medicine. Pull a card a week, pull a card a month, um, but make it a regular thing to read for yourself, because it will deeply enhance the way you read for others, because you'll start to see the difference between your stuff and their stuff and be able to create a necessary field of protection, so this way your stuff doesn't bleed into what they need to hear. So I hope this found and fed you on this magical Monday. I hope you're having a lovely start to your week. If you would like personal guidance yourself, I can help you from, going from conflict to clarity with a 3-card reading. They're emailed, so this way you have the time to reread and go over certain notes that you don't want to forget. You can go to the link in my description below and book the 3-card reading. It's a conflict to clarity reading that I would be more than happy to give you if you're going through personal conflict and need help confronting some things to help bring you to that space of clarity. I do offer one-on-one tarot classes. I do offer them. I do offer payment plans on them as well, because I know the upfront cost could be a lot for some. But I do offer one-on-one tarot classes. If you would like to learn the tarot from a holistic perspective, I'd be more than happy to teach you. Um, yeah, but yeah, if you need that soul-to-soul support, I am here, and I'd be more than willing to be your guide right now. Be blessed, be well, have a terrific week. Love y'all.